Welcome to the Autism in Black podcast, where we focus on all things autism and the Black parent experience. Our goal is to always educate, support, and empower parents to advocate for not only their children, but themselves. I'm Maria Davis-Pierre, a licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida and America's #1 autism advocate for Black parents. I'm the founder and CEO of Autism in Black Inc., where we aim to include the excluded.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Autism in Black podcast. I am your host, Maria Davis-Pierre, licensed mental health counselor and the CEO and founder of Autism in Black Inc. Welcome back to another season. It has been a while, and I'm so glad to be back with you all here at the Autism in Black podcast. We did take a pretty lengthy hiatus, as many of you noticed. We took a pause to rest, to reset, to reflect, and to honestly come back stronger with even more intention. What's been happening since our last episode is that I am in the process of finishing up my PhD. I am officially in dissertation phase and hopefully will be done before the 6th annual Autism in Black conference next April. My children are still learning and growing and going through life as children, right? So we are navigating middle school, we're navigating the end of elementary school, and this year was a big year for my children. So I took a pause to really pour into them because they needed me. It was our first hybrid Autism in Black conference this past April. So the 5th annual conference that happened in April was in person and online. And going into that new venture of adding in the in-person the in-person aspect to the conference really took a lot out of me. That planning for the whole year, trying to ensure that we gave the experience that we do online in person. If you are a longtime follower, you know that community safe spaces are so important to me, and I wanted that to reflect in that in-person experience. So I really put a lot of effort into planning and ensuring that that was reflected. So, that is just a little bit of what's been going on behind the scenes with Autism in Black and why we took such a long hiatus with the podcast. But here we are, and we are back, right? And I feel like it's an important time to be back. This space, this podcast has always been about centering Black autistic voices, telling the truth about our experiences and holding space for joy, advocacy, and healing. And I feel like now more than ever, we really need to hone in on that and get back to that. This podcast is for any and everybody. It's for the Black parents. It's for the autistic adults. It's for educators, advocates. It's for those of us who are tired of being erased and tokenized, right? So here we are, and we're back with a new season. We have guest interviews coming up. We have solo episodes coming up. We're going to talk about the Autism in Black community and what's going on in there. That way, if you want to join, you're able to do so. So we have a lot coming up this season for you all. But let's talk about what's been going on in autism conversation since our last episode. I know a lot of you have seen those comments about or from RFK, right? Him alluding to calling autism an epidemic, talking about vaccinations, really talking about a certain population of autistic individuals in a means that is just disgusting. Um, so, you may have saw that I did have some remarks in regards to his comments, but here at the Autism in Black podcast, you know that I'm a little bit more freer with what I have to say about that clown. Um, what he has used that platform for, his position for, is just disgusting. Not only is what he's stating scientifically false, it's been proven over and over and over and over again through research, but it's just plain dangerous. It recycles the same ableist, anti-Black rhetoric that frames us and our children as tragedies instead of people with full, complex lives. Um, I think my fear as the CEO of Autism in Black, as the co-founder of Autism in Black, is what these type of conversations are going to do to us down the line. What does that mean for us down the line? Because there is that reinforcement of eugenics thinking, right? There is an increased stigma, especially for Black families. There's that harm to public understanding of neurodivergence and neurodiversity. So down the line, I think we're really going to see um, regression as far as that gap widening for Black autistic youth getting a diagnosis, because parents are going to be fearful, right? When you have someone um, at that level sitting on the platform that they're sitting on saying this, spewing hatred, disgusting remarks, and you are already in a minority population and you're already scared of what it means for your Black little girl or your Black little boy growing up in this society, and then you're thinking about adding on a disability to that, it can be scary, especially when you don't know about the community that is out there for you, especially when you don't have the knowledge and the information about our, full complex lives and the differences and the representation of what it means to be Black and autistic. So my fear is that we're going to see that gap in individuals getting a diagnosis. We're going to see the gap widening. We're going to see Black children continuing to not get supports in schools, services and accommodations in schools that they need to be able to thrive, right? So if you are listening to this podcast and you are tuning in and those comments are something that you are struggling with and you're wondering if you should go through the diagnosis, if you should do what you need to do for your child, the answer is yes. I know it can be scary. I know it's scary living in a world where an individual is sitting on that type of platform talking about you or your child. And I know it's hurtful because I felt the same hurt for me and my children when I heard it. But we have to think about helping our children thrive. We want to move from surviving to thriving. And the diagnosis, the categorization in schools helps our children get the supports that they need, get the accommodations that we need. And yes, I know the broader scale of that, education is also having its more of an issue because let's be honest, there was issues going on before this administration took over. But if it gives our children even more of a chance of having something that they did not have, then the answer is yes, right? So we want to think about that. But moreover, in his remarks and his statements, what's continued to be missing is Black autistic people are still being talked about and not listened to. That's what I was seeing. I wasn't seeing organizations sticking up and talking about that intersectionality piece and what this means for our community when you're saying things like this. Um, and the ones who are speaking out are often silenced or sidelined, right? Our voices are not being amplified at the magnitude of other voices, right? So in that broader scale of that is what I'm thinking about when it comes to RFK's statements. In regards to education and is it on the line and, what's happening with 504 and, all of these things that are happening and not happening because, a lot of this is being dismissed in court. It's going to be a tumultuous 3.5 years, to say the least. Every day we wake up and there is something that is on the line in regards to what we need as Black autistic, Black disabled individuals. And it's tiring when you are having to wake up and see that, oh, I have to worry about if something's going to happen to my child's 504 plan. I have to worry about if I file a complaint, is OCR, Office of Civil Rights, going to be able to take it? Are they going to have this backlog that they're having, right? What's happening? And, like most of you, I'm waking up and seeing it, and I'm trying to see how we're going to navigate it. And I'm trying to see, like, what does this mean for us? And every day it's something different, and it's hard to keep up with. It's overwhelming. But during this time, what I encourage you to do is practice self-care and just what you can, do what you can. And if doing what you can that day means not looking at anything and just getting through the day, then do so, right? We have to be giving ourselves grace the next 3.5 years at least, because of what's currently going on in the world. So we have that going on. What else is going on in regards to autism conversations and where we're at? There was that whole situation that happened where a white lady was calling a young Black autistic boy the N-word, and she started to profit off of that. Cheryl Poe and I did a Facebook Live on our thoughts regarding that, and it's still up on both of our pages, I believe, and you can go and watch that and listen to our thoughts on that. It's been a rough start to 2025. But hopefully, my hope is that we understand that there's a community that is out here for us, and we really hone in and gather with those of individuals who are like-minded with us, gather with individuals who are wanting what we're wanting, right? Taking things off of these platforms and going more so into our communities. We do have the Autism in Black community where we have more dialogue regarding these conversations and topics that's going on. We'll have the link in the show notes so that you can get more information on that. We have our upcoming Co-parenting and couple summit that will be happening July 26th, I think is the date. But that we, of course, will be sharing information about that on all of our socials. So make sure you're tuning in on that. And where will this podcast be going for this season? What will we be doing moving forward? I think, essentially sticking to our Autism in Black foundation. It's, of course, it's going to be continued truth, continued community-rooted conversations, right? I really like to emphasize that this isn't a space for respectability politics or watered-down inclusion. We talk real talk here. We center Black autistic voices. That does not mean that you have to be Black and autistic to interact or come to our summits, our conferences, any of that. Just know that the conversations are centered around us. I implore you, if you are not a Black autistic individual, that you need to be coming to and showing support to the podcast and the conferences and the summits, because you need to get the information on how to do less harm to our community, plain and simple, right? So, of course, we will be continuing to do those things. We have some amazing episodes coming up. Some of the topics are about Black autistic girls and women, neuroaffirming parenting, cultural healing and education, fighting ableism in systems. So whether you're a parent, professional, or autistic yourself, this space is for you. This podcast is for you, and we hope you continue to enjoy it. On a personal note, even with this year-long hiatus, I just want to express my gratitude and excitement because you guys continue to listen to the episodes that were out and continue to keep the Autism in Black podcast alive, continue to keep it on charts, podcast charts, right? So I just want to thank you all for continuing to pour into the Autism in Black organization, because it means so much to us. We do our best to really show up for our community. So thank you for always supporting us. I ask that you guys share the episode, leave a review, join the community. Stay tuned for this whole season. It's going to be amazing. We have some amazing guests coming up. So with that check-in and welcome back to a new season of the Autism in Black podcast, I just want to leave you with giving yourself grace, right? Showing up for yourself, showing up for your children in whatever way that means. And thank you again for your continued support. So we will catch you on the next episode of the Autism in Black podcast.
If you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to our podcast so you can always be notified when a new episode drops. To get the resources shared on today's podcast and the show notes, make sure to go to autisminblack.org/podcast. Don't forget to share your takeaways from the show on your IG stories and Twitter using our official hashtag AIBpod so that we can find and share them. If you want to continue the conversation from today's episode, join our Autism in Black podcast Facebook community at facebook.com/group/AIBpod.